J-Man. J-Man. Oh, that's a bit of a delay. 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 Jason, what's happening with that? J-Man. Oh, that's a bit of a delay. Jason, what's happening with that?
Yeah, we're here. Unable to detect camera.
J-Man. Oh, that's a bit of a delay. Jason, what's happening with that?
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay. Jason, what's happening with that? All right.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them.
All right.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that?
I found them and I sent them. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah, we're here.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
Unable to detect camera.
Jason, it seems to be playing in a loop. J-Man. Oh, why does it keep doing that? It's a bit of a delay.
Oh, there it is.
Jason, what's happening with that? Is that working now? I'm reluctant to talk.
Oh, Sam, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, nice.
Hey, V, mate.
Hey, good, you?
I've been well. Been well. I have been busy, but that's a good thing, I guess.
Good problem to have.
Okay.
Yes. How's the car? How's the MR2?
Ah, Lotus now.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so I had
Finally
to,
finished.
I bought a converted Lotus lease.
Brilliant. Can I just test that I can open up my one? Can I?
To
Yeah,
share.
Yeah, 1 second.
Go for it.
you can overwrite.
Is that working?
Yep.
It is.
Wonderful. I'll stop sharing.
Hello, Stephanie.
Hi,
Welcome back.
thank you. Paul will be in a minute.
No worries.
Thank you.
We should.
So what time is it now?
You've got 1 minute.
1 minute. Do we see when people connect, or we just see the presenters?
No, you can see participants as 20.
20, and they can hear us too. Hello,
Yes.
everyone. We've got 1 minute to go.
And the panelists will have video.
So we'll get going in a moment.
And for everyone that's not in Zoom, it's on.
Streaming.
Yep.
Hello, Richard. How you going?
Yeah, good. Was that Michael? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
This link to Epping, gee, such a long distance link.
So we'll get started in a moment.
Where's our presidente?
Hello, Bryce. Yes, if you use the right link, do we see Bryce? Has he got the link?
You can promote him to participants. Right click on him wherever he is in that list. Scroll down.
Attendees.
Yeah, that's it. Type Bryce. Or just search for him.
Hello, Bryce.
Right click and make him a panelist. You see him reconnect. Right click. Actually, wait. You can't from that screen because I have to do it.
Okay, Bryce, we're going to make you a presenter. So you just hang on for a moment.
Controlling it all.
We'll get that done.
Right click.
So panelists, I think. So you've got
There you go, he's
panelists
done.
and participants.
Is up.
All right, Bryce.
Yes, it'll reconnect. It takes like a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AEVA New South Wales November branch meeting. Just getting ourselves organised, but the rough agenda tonight is we have a number of speakers. Before we go on to all of some of the normal formalities later in the meeting, one of the formalities is we've got a competition. So
Sam can talk about his prize.
Sam, can you?
Yeah, he's up.
There you go. We have a competition. The way to win is you at the appropriate time, you've got to go to menti.com. The link is at the top and the code is at the top. And the prize is, Sam, over to you.
Oh, we'll be giving away a portable charging station, so 10 amp portable. If the winner already has one of those, I'll try and give them something in our accessory range that meets their requirements. But yeah, in essence, a portable charging.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sam from EVC, thank you very much.
And the YouTube participants can also participate.
Everyone can participate. So menti.com at the appropriate time using that code. The questions are general questions, or they're from
Questions about the panelist presentations and also some general electric questions.
Cool. Okay, so moving on.
Yep. 1 second. 5 more seconds. Wasn't in there.
So that's me. Welcome from me. It's been an interesting time since we last spoke. The last meeting was a bit of a mess up because we had the gate crashes. We've changed the system significantly since then, so no external people can join. And in fact, no one that we don't explicitly invite in to talk can get on. But you can ask questions, and there'll be times when you can do that. How do they ask questions at the appropriate time?
There's already some people on chat if you want to open
On
that.
chat.
So questions will come up through Menti. So if you just open your phone up or on your computer that URL with that code, you can post any question you want without a pathetic. Yeah.
So there'll be actual questions at an appropriate time. But what we were planning to do first, before we got to the questions, was to talk to our panelists, who are tonight Bryce, who's the convener of the AEVA conference, Paul and Stephanie from Rectifier, who joined us last week but was really messed up. So we thought we should give them the chance. In fact, we were asked to give them a chance to talk again. So welcome back, Paul and Stephanie. Sam from EVSE, and thank you very much for the gift, for the prize. And then Richard from Toka. And then we'll probably finish with some of the normal bits and pieces that we do, the normal formalities. So at this point, it's probably time to hand over to Bryce to give us an update on the AEVA conference. Unmute, Bryce. Can we unmute you?
Me? How's that?
That's better. There we go.
Oh, good God, you can actually hear me now. How you going, guys? We've got 36 people, so it's good to see you all here tonight. I'll probably just flick over to the website and I can show you what's happening with the EV conference tonight. I'll flick it over. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, you should all be able to see that now. If you're looking at that,
can you full frame it a little? Can you full frame it? It's just we can see a bit of your computer desktop. So
fair enough. I'll do that. I thought I had just there it is.
Double click.
Here we go. I gave him full
there
frame.
we go. That's the way.
There you go.
Thank you.
Right, yes, if you want to go to our website, the delegateconnect.co with AEVA stuck in the front, this is what you'll see. And as you'll look through the program and the download, you can actually, first of all, up the top is download full program. If you hit that, you'll actually get the full flyer and all the details which you can run and print out, which would be quite useful. And you can click on different sections that come in. And they scroll through back to there. So you can do that. We have a few little details there. There's a program summary of the way it's set out. So there's sort of 3 virtual rooms it's set up, and there's a whole series of blocks of talks. They're basically running 1 hour blocks of 3 to 4 speakers per block with a 15-minute break. So if they do run over with a few questions, they can. And it's a really action-packed program all the way through. So if you start at the very beginning, we have the Victorian Minister talking about what's happening here, followed by Tim Flannery, who's talking about basically transport is one of the climate cures. So he's going to be focusing in on that. And then we'll have a whole series of talk. Well, the plenary session at the end, we'll be talking about how do we progress EV future from here, talking about and picking up the themes from the day's talks, which is following there. If you scroll through, there's a bucket load of stuff. I'll let you go through it. There's 20 pages of program. So if you're going through that part of it, that's how that part of it works. And I'll just flick back to the program. If you want to register, or if you want to flick through to some other sections, there's
Can you just go back for a sec, Bryce? Yep. Because there's one important thing there that November 27th. That's
yes. Oh, yes. I've been working on it for so long now. It's completely second nature that it is November 27th. I've been working on it for that long, but it's only 8 days away now. So if you're going to register, now's the time to do it rather than leave it to the last minute, because that's when computer systems tend to always give you grief. So really would appreciate if you can register in the next few days. And the first email will be going out to participants from the Delegate Connect platform this Friday. So I just sent out an email today as a reminder to everyone. If you want to go.
And the price list, just
yes. If you want to go through register, click on there, and that will take you through to the price list. If you're a member, they're a $40 ticket, and there's about 45 odd speakers. So, and it's cost us a fair bit of money to put this on. Chris can talk a bit more about that later. I keep away from the grubby financial side of it. But that's, if you're a concession ticket, it's only $25. And also, if you're unable to get there on the day, but want to see any of the talks or download the PowerPoint presentations, other materials that speakers have loaded, just go to the bottom there, and that ticket option and the post-event access will give you access to the conference materials for the following 12 months. All conference attendees get that as part of their ticket, but if you can't make it on the day, it's just $25 for the access for the following 12 months. Once you've had a look through that and understood it, you can then go through here and you can just pick your particular ticket. If you remember, by the way, you will need to have your membership number and be logged into the website in order to claim that. So that's the registration side of it. I'll back up again.
And there's some really interesting speakers. I mean, I was looking through yesterday.
Yeah, if you look through the speakers here.
Yeah. Can you, so hit the highs.
Yes, we've got a Halfdan who's talking from the Aero Energy Lab on the first year's operation of the electric ferry Ellen. That's, by the way, a 43, I think, megawatt hour battery in it. It does a round trip of about 20 odd Ks between Denmark and Sweden, I think it is. He'll give you all the details. And it's a 30 car, 200 passenger ferry. It's not just a little thing. So he'll give a report on that. And spoiler alert, it is way better than you could possibly believe. We have speakers from a number of the international EVAs, Electrical Vehicle Associations. So Christina Boo, who's the Norwegian EVA Association Secretary General. They have about 70,000 members from memory. We have people from Scottish EVA. We have obviously Robert Llewellyn from Fully Charged, for those people who see in the Fully Charged website. We've got a final plenary session, which will have Tim Flannery, Behad Jafari, Robert Llewellyn, Chris Nash, and the lady from New Zealand, Catherine Trowson will be, there she is in front of me, so I should have remembered her name. And if you keep scrolling through, there's about 45 odd people coming in. There's Bill Dunlop, GB Auto do the conversions. He's running a little slow on getting his details in, so I think virtually all but that one's in. We've got a couple of the manufacturers talking, Nissan and Hyundai are talking, and I think MG are coming on board as well, and Bortana, who are doing the industrial, the mining machinery four-wheel drives. We have obviously Graham mediated a number of people talking about conversions. We have a number of people talking about EV charging. Anyway, I could go on for hours about it. I've been working on this for months. So have a scroll through the program, have a read through it, and as I suggest or urge you to enroll early for the program, just so as we can get all the details out. If people have any questions about that, happy to answer them. Otherwise, I might head back to dinner, and I've got a couple of mates around here tonight. So I'll answer any questions directly. Otherwise, I'll head back to you, and Chris can answer any later questions.
Have you got any questions that we can pull up?
Hold on.
What's the technical issues?
No, there's none. No one's posted a question.
No, nothing in the Q&A, nothing in the chat.
But if we get any, we'll contact you.
Yep, no worries. And Chris should be able to answer the general type questions.
All good. Thanks very much.
No worries. Oh, thank you. Enjoy your meeting tonight. I'd love to hang around for more. You've got some really good speakers, but it just sort of happened that I had a couple of mates around tonight. And given it's Melbourne and we can actually start getting together again, I'm not saying no. We'll catch you guys later.
All good. Hello, Chris. I think it's over to you. So follow up on the conference, but also what's happening in National.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, look, I just put a little bit more of a sales pitch on what Bryce was saying there. So as we've mentioned on the front of the website, this is actually the largest ever EV only conference that's been held in this country. There's 45 speakers. If you think of that in terms of the dollar price, that's less than $1 a speaker. And obviously you get access, once you've bought your ticket, you're going to get access to go back and watch all the streams at your own leisure. You don't have to watch them all on the day. You'll have access to watch them at your own leisure. So absolutely worthwhile to get a feeling for what's going on in Australia, but also more importantly, what's going on in the rest of the world. And then maybe, we start the conversation around how we get there. Looking at a country that's leading the way like Norway. I can't wait to hear what Christina's got to say about what they've done with their oil money to get them there. So
it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because being virtual, you've been able to attract some really interesting people to join and to talk.
Absolutely. So interestingly enough, and I don't want to take up too much time on this, but a few of these were going to fly out to Australia for the live conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So we'd already booked in New Zealand, Canada. We did have one coming from the US, and then when the date changed, it unfortunately it's Thanksgiving in the US, so wasn't able to come. But yes, so just amazing. So really looking forward to it. Now I will also be making a fairly important speech at that conference, which I think most people here are aware of in the meeting. But AEVA will be announcing that we are declaring 2030 as our end date for the combustion engine. I don't know, let's call it what's the opposite of a revolution? So we'll be, I'll be making that announcement, and we're setting up a pledge page so that that businesses and individuals in long page make their own pledge off on the pledge page from our website, and they'll be able to connect along that. You'll see plenty of notes and bits and pieces coming out about that post the conference. You probably won't see a lot between now and next Friday, but post the conference, I'm expecting that there'll be a little bit of media. But
and what's the date again? What was the
2030?
2030.
So, yeah, unfortunately, the British have just the Poms have just changed their date back to 2030. So
yeah.
From 35, we're hoping to be ahead of them. That was,
we're trying to sneak in front of them.
Yeah, it was part of the deal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but look, everything's moving so fast now in terms of what's going on around the world. I mean, Norway have gone through 60% of new car sales. We've had, I mean, the MG launch last Tuesday was unbelievable for anybody who saw that. So their new ZS EV drive away price at 44,000 has blown the market away in terms of everybody was just so surprised. They were originally going to be 49,000, I think, and their head got on and said, no, we're going to do it for 44. So,
which is a killer price, and it looks like a nice car as well.
It actually looks like a really nice car. Yeah, I think I mentioned to you, Michael, I've already put myself down for a test drive, not just to have a drive. I'm giving consideration to
actually put your money.
Give the second car. Yeah. So so there's quite a bit there. So anyway, in terms of the conference, make sure you even if you can't get along, grab yourself a ticket, because all of this stuff will be so great to watch over the course of the following weekend or whenever you've got access to watch it.
Some great speakers.
Fantastic speakers. Wellens Beauty. If you've seen any of the stuff there on Fully Charged, obviously Tim Flannery is a very good speaker as well, and you know, Bayhad and Tim Washington, and the list just goes on and on and on. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Actually, Sam, who I saw on the screen before, is speaking on there. There's probably a number of people. I didn't see all the intros here, but I saw Sam there. So Sam's speaking. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Now, a couple of other things to update on the national side. Just noting with everyone that Australia or our association will be one of the founding members of the International Electric Vehicle Drivers Association, which is in the process of being formed at the moment, being run by a number of our colleagues in the US and Norway and other places. So
it's a collection of the different associations, the world associations, into one body.
Into a global body. So think of the Olympics and think of each country has their Olympic committee, and then there's obviously the IOC.
Yep. We
plan to be, I guess, that sort of type body without the corruption.
Yeah. So, but have you got an idea of the aims of the? I mean, I suppose it's fairly self-evident, push the electric vehicles globally, but is that? Yeah.
So one of the aims is actually been about information sharing. and about the ability to use tactics, techniques, strategies that have worked in one country and see if we can bring them across onto other countries, which, you know, as Australia, I'm extremely excited about, because we can do with every tactic we could get our hands on. Try and encourage government to do something, whether that be at a federal level, a state level. The local has been pretty good, but so that's something that's really exciting. So I've already had the first little drop of information. I got a out of Plug-in America, they sent me their policy handbook that they send around to different local and state governments to help them come up with ideas. So so that there's a number of things going on there. So that is that's going ahead. You'll probably hear about this over coming months. It won't just happen. Someone's already bought the MG. There you go. Sorry, that just grabbed my attention. That will be going on over the next couple of months. So keep your eye out for that. We'll make some announcements when it happens. The final thing I wanted to talk about, many people would potentially already be aware, the South Australian government have put their foot in it.
Draconian.
Yeah, so you would have seen a lot of press about the South Australian government after making a fantastic announcement Friday week ago. They announced $80 million into a charging network that would allow every South Australian to drive an electric vehicle to every other part of South Australia. And there would be no black holes in this charging network. They followed that up on the Tuesday night, unfortunately, with the EV tax plan, which was not only a flat tax for the fact that you were driving an EV, there was also, on top of that, was a kilometre tax for how far you travelled on a per kilometre basis. That has received a very, very terse response, and I would encourage everybody in the group to have a look at the petition that was put together by the South Australian Labor Party, and to put your name down on that so that we can potentially drum up enough support to get them to knock it back, because at this stage it is simply just a budget announcement.
A suggestion.
Yeah, it's still, well, a number of people from within the South Australian government, and especially on the environmental side, believe it was a thought bubble.
Well, although I say that one of the other days we spoke, New South Wales, the Treasurer for New South Wales has said the same thing. They're looking at introducing the same taxes.
Yes, but I note that there was nothing in your budget.
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, I was talking to the guy in charge of the Department of Environment or something like that before, New South Wales government, climate change person, can't remember his title, but he was saying that federal have been lobbying all of the treasurers nationally. So it's been a thought bubble that's come from on high, and some states have been more receptive
Absolutely.
than others.
So look, because it's come from on high, it's clearly going to go down party lines. South Australia is a current Liberal government. New South Wales is a current Liberal government, and Tasmania, current Liberal government. So Tasmania released their budget, absolutely nothing. Clive Atwater, who's our National Vice President, was called in on the morning of the budget release to do a piece on the ABC, because they were getting ready to ping the government. And I don't know whether they were going to do it or weren't, or they pulled out. I don't know what happened, but they ended up not releasing anything at all. And I note from the New South Wales budget that's come through, they've not released anything either. What has happened in New South Wales, which is fantastically positive, is obviously the position from Andrew Constance to as Transport Minister to convert the whole 8,000 bus fleet to electric.
Yep, electric, exactly.
And they put together a great little promo. I don't know if people have seen it, a great little promo about how much money that'll save the state and how much pollution and all the benefits, which is effectively a fantastic ad for electric vehicles, all rolled into one and coming from
Andrew wants to talk. Who's that?
Can we allow Andrew Wilson, you wanted to
Chime in.
chime in?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you've got the floor.
Sweet. Yeah, I used to work for regulatory program improvement with the Transport for New South Wales, well, the former RMS, because they all merged.
Yep.
Just give you a bit of public policy context. People that are floating these ideas have no real strong understanding of the industry.
Yep.
So with a lack of strong understanding, they go, oh, these cars are going away with scot-free, and they think, oh, there's a money figure, but it costs more in administration costs within the first 2 years, because you've got to establish programs, you've got to employ people to manage this income stream. So it probably end up costing more. So well, the benefits, if it isn't costing more, you won't realize the benefits. And there's also the issue of hybrids. Do they get taxed twice as much?
Yeah,
they've got to pay for
both ways. At the moment, it sounds like they're excluded. But anyway, hey Andrew, could you contact us? Might like to follow up.
Yeah, no dramas. Just to touch base with that, it's the same nationally as well with say automated vehicles. So they've got a lot of policy staff working on this rather than people that have a strong understanding of electric vehicle uptake.
Yeah, all good. It'd be good if we could talk.
No drama.
There was a question for Andrew there, so.
Yes, about the effective strategy to fight the tax proposal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is the reason I want to talk to Andrew and is that
your policy subcommittee group.
Exactly, which at the moment it's working closely with Bayard at EVSC because they're very organised. So we're helping out there. I'd like to talk to Andrew about that. So yeah, there's a bit of work happening there. Daryl?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can now, yeah, go for it.
Okay, look, one thing I've noticed with reporters or in the newspapers, that the thing that is never mentioned with electric vehicles is that because we don't need to import oil to run electric vehicles, that helps the balance of payments.
It does.
I mean, there must be tens of billions of dollars that the balance of payments is reduced.
You're right.
So why would you? So if there is going to have to be some form of road tax, shouldn't the federal government pay that to offset the reduction in balance of payments?
You're right. There's a lot of issues. That's just one of them. I mean, you talk about the environment. You talk about what Andrew was saying about the cost of actually collecting it, given the small numbers. So there's lots of things happening. If you've got any suggestions or ideas, contact me, because we're actually, like Chris was saying, we're working with the EV Council to work counter arguments for this. So probably not something we need to go into too much detail now. We'll follow up. But if you do have any suggestions, thoughts, ideas, contact me, treasurer.aeva.asn.au.
Okay, just one other thing. The other thing is energy security. We because we're not relying on overseas oil from some of the most unstable regions of the world, by running EVs, we're improving the energy security. But this is never mentioned again. When reporters ask questions or whatever, they never ask these questions. Can we send out some kind of a press brief or something to the main newspapers to ask these kind of questions?
Well, that's what we're saying. We're actually formulating a response. So contact me.
All right, thanks.
So Daryl, just on that last point, we've already put together a position paper, which was before this all blew up, about the whole idea of road user charges, of which our national position is that as long as everybody is working in a tax system, meaning that you're charging vehicles appropriately and fairly across the board in terms of what you're trying to achieve, we don't mind a road user charge. The issue in South Australia is they've just chosen EVs and said, oh, well, there you go. You can cop that, and we'll see how it goes with you guys, which clearly for a lot of people who are wavering on whether they will buy or won't buy, that's the kind of thing that'll push them off and say, oh, I'll leave it this time round. I'll stick with a combustion engine vehicle and not move. So we're really trying to push these arguments forward, but I think you'll find that with a lot of the media sources, they have a stated position, and that's often based on who's advertising and paying advertising bills for them.
All right, thanks very much, Chris. But as we're saying, if you've got any thoughts to follow up on, let me know, because we are formulating a response. But we're probably going to have to move the agenda along.
Very good.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Chris. And say thanks to Bryce as well.
Shall do. Cheers.
Sam, are you there?
I am. I was actually about to reply, like, too early for a tax. So let me just...
Yeah, well, that's one of the arguments. Way too early for a tax. But you were saying, we just saw your post saying you've got to leave recently.
I do have to grab my children at 8:20 from their grandma. Sorry, guys.
So we might shuffle the order and then let's get you over. Go now.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, fantastic. I'll share my screen. Yes, it is. Let me know if I have any issues here, guys.
No, you're up.
Good to go.
Fantastic. I have full screened it. Okay. So a product that we're super excited about, and I believe I've got 15 minutes, so I will keep this to the 15 minutes. So at EVSC, we're obviously the distributor of EO charging in Australia. That's a partnership that we started about 5 years ago, and a partnership that's actually been very good for both of us. Anyone who's not familiar with EVSC Australia, we were founded in 2015, and across that time, we've become an authority across EV charging, as well as AEVA, of course. You guys are the authority. And we believe in a world powered by renewable and sustainable energy. And what we want to do in the next 5 years is try to make charging an EV as clean as possible. We want to make it easier to own an electric car. And the product we're about to launch in the next few weeks is what we believe going to help make it a reality for homeowners to achieve that goal. And it's the EO Mini Pro 2. We're calling it small in size and big in power. I believe it continues to be the world's smallest EV charger. And now we've packed brains into the charger. So what we wanted to do here is, there's a great product that's already to market. It's called the Zappy. So we wanted to kind of replicate that kind of solar charging function, but we wanted to take it the next step further. And we wanted to help our customers, as well as the EV community, have a free to use smartphone app that would allow you not only to utilize solar charging, but to essentially take your charging to that next level. And so what we've done here is, with the smart function, you can now manage, monitor, and schedule all your charging functions from your EO smartphone app. Importantly, guys, this app is going to be for free, so there'll be no ongoing cost. That's been the real issue that we found as a company, is that we've got these big, of course, commercial grade chargers in. And if you want to put those chargers in your home and have that kind of functionality, often they can come with quite a substantial ongoing cost. We wanted to remove that, and we've done that. Now, why that smart function is so important, I'll get into a little bit later. And then safe. So as standard, the EO Mini Pro will have load balancing features inbuilt. So we're going to call this the first and the last charger you'll ever need.
So when you say load balancing,
yep.
What do you mean by load balancing?
So via a CT clamp, we can actively measure the electricity consumption in a home. So for instance, if you're on a 63 amp single phase supply, we'll set that onto the smart charger. And so it will measure your electricity consumption in real time. And by that, I mean every single second. And if you approach 63 amps, the charging speeds will then become down-regulate to prevent your distribution board from tripping.
Oh, I see. So you're regulating the amount that the charger will draw.
Correct, correct. So when you install hundreds of chargers a year, 5 to 10% of those will have a load challenge, especially, in some parts of, Melbourne, which only have a single phase 32 amp supply. A lot of commercial sites, my warehouse is only powered by a 32 amp single phase supply. I couldn't charge 2 Teslas at once without a load control.
So it'll still be able to sense when you've got, apart from just the timing function, it'll still be able to sense when you've got excess solar and automatically kick off the charge for your car?
Yeah, correct. So if senses excess solar, you can then kick on the charge. So I'll get into those details a little later, if that's all right. Mike? Yep. So one thing that we're also going to add before I get into the high level functions is we're going to add a lot of colors and functions. So it's going to be available in black, silver, white, and those of you who want to make a bit of a statement, in blue. That's going to be cool. Okay. And I'll go into the pricing a little later. So the smart control, what we've been able to do is, okay, scheduling is a nice feature. But what we really want to do is how can we integrate with EV tariffs? You're hearing some of these tariffs being available, free charging between these times, 5-cent charging. And so the Mini Pro via the scheduling function will allow you to achieve those. In the UK, they've gone that step further and they've actually integrated with Octopus and EDF in agility tariffs. So that's what we call V1G, where demand side response and so on gets involved. And so that's where this product's evolution is going to go. Importantly as well, on the app, you can set your current state of charge. And so if you arrive home and you have a 60% battery, you can tap that into the app quickly, and then you'll be able to see your exact status of your charging on your app. Okay. All your electric charging sessions are recorded on the app as well, on this little icon here. Can you see my mouse?
Yes, we can.
More than one mouse.
Yeah. So if you press that button, guy, and you go to My History, all your electricity consumption over the last year is recorded on the app. And that's going to be massive for tax office purposes. Anyone who's driving a company car, you've now got an ability to be able to reimburse your electricity consumption at home without installing a meter or any other function. I guess that's why we said we've put a lot of work in this. We're in the final stages of Australian testing, and I'm really hopeful to have this by January. It might even possibly be December, but I think January is a realistic target. So the solar charging function is very similar to the Zappy, guys. How does it work? It essentially reads the power being generated by your solar panels, and then it matches the output of the charger to the solar generation. Now, an important function and another safety feature is there will be a minimum charge rate set on the charger. Now, what we don't want to do is do start-stop charging, because that can eventually lead to battery degradation and problems. So what you'll see is that there'll be a grid backup. So if you're charging, solar generation falls but below 6 or 8 amps, the Mini Pro will start to tap into the grid to continue the charging. Does that make sense to everyone at home, everyone listening in?
Yeah, got that.
Yeah, we don't want the car manufacturers giving us calls about our charging process.
But it also means guarantees your charge, and you're going to have a full car at the end of the day, as you kind of expect.
Correct. What we want to do is, look, we want to make it as cheap as possible to charge, but we still want the charger to work, right? Yep. We don't want you waking up in an empty battery.
Suck up those solar gains during in the day, but you're guaranteed of a full car.
Mate, Michael, you're selling it for me, mate. I'll let you present it next time.
Hey, I've thought about this.
So power balancing, this is an additional feature, right? So it comes standard in the charger, but there's an extra CT that needs to be purchased. The reason for that is we wanted to lower the kind of cost to market, so we've done that. So how does it work? It will sense the generation of electricity consumption in the home every second, and it will dictate the charging speed based on the available loads. So as you can see from the image, you've got your lights on in the house, your hot water systems, your TVs, your air conditions. It will sense available load and regulate the charging process there. So the additional cost is all you need to do is purchase an additional CT clamp. And that's an optional extra that you can purchase before the installation. So we're only going to be charging an extra $100 for the CT clamp and the setup, which we feel is reasonable considering the functionality. Now you can always retrofit this into the charger. So if you find that you're having a power balancing issue, you can just call EVSE up, we'll send you out the CT clamp and the electrician can add it on. Yeah, very nicely. The data cable that we're using, we're going to be able to then do the one data cable for both CT clamps if required. Okay. Tethered or universal, I'm not going to have the argument with you guys. It's both available. If it's a universal socket, the RRP is $12.95. The tethered will be $13.95. And for courtesy of Jason and Michael, everyone from AEVA gets 10% off our entire range all the time via the AEVA 10 coupon code. Okay.
And you can recommend installers and the like, question mark?
Okay, I'm going to get to that. So the smart, now I've allowed anyone to install the EO Mini because it's pretty simple. The EO Mini Pro has a setup phase. So any licensed electrician can become an installer, but they will have to complete a free training session. It takes 20 minutes. Once they complete the training session, we will onboard them. They'll download the configuration app, and then they'll be able to install our charger. Or we'll just do our fixed price installation service as we always do.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you say that the basic systems available right now, the Mini, but the Smart Mini, that's coming, it's still on the way?
It's here right now. We just need to work with the guys in the UK to get the scheduling function. Australia's got a few time zones and we're just configuring the time zones.
Okay, you're sort of modifying it, bringing it up to date to sort of suit the local conditions and time zones.
Correct, or else we'll have Queenslanders calling us complaining about not doing daylight saving.
There was a question there, is it a fixed price?
Yes, so I will try our best to make it as fixed price as possible. So the regular charger will be a slightly lower price. We'll just increase the price slightly to take into account the extra data cable that the electrician.
Smart and the extra features and the extra install.
I want it to be around $900, guys. Obviously, you might have your local electrician who's going to be a bit cheaper than me, who has to subcontract national networks. But yeah, if you've got your own electrician and you want to use him, or you're an electrician, I'm happy to onboard you and you can install it at your own time. We need to make sure that the electrician is trained, because we do not want to have issues where, you know, like the initial Zappy install, some people would install the CT clamp wrong, or there will be the configuration process is wrong. So we just need to make sure that step's done.
There was a question, Lan had a question about the output, whether it's AC or DC output to the car and what kind of current.
It's AC, and then the first model, it will be single phase at the moment.
Right.
Okay. We don't have a 3-phase version just yet, guys. Single phase AC, 32 amps, configurable power output.
So what's that level? The type 1, type 2?
Level 2.
Level 2.
Mode 3.
Yep. And so if anyone wants further information, evse.com.au?
Absolutely. I should say, so sales at evse.com.au. Please remember, everyone from AEVA, 10% off.
Marge has a question. Maybe we go, Marge, you're on air. I think. You might be on mute.
Marge is on mute at the moment. But, oh, no.
There you go, Marge. If you, on one more time, you came off mute, but then went back to mute. Nope. That's fine. Maybe follow up with this later, or evse.com.au.
Okay. And then the last thing is we're actively working towards a solution to a problem which is major for a lot of fleet owners and fleet operators and anyone driving a company car. How do we make EVs as easy, if not easier to own than a company car? And we're going to be starting our one fleet integration process where we'll link our home charger to a commercial charger via the cloud. Now, the EO Genius has OCPP functionality. Please note the EO Mini Pro 2 is not an OCPP charger, okay? OCPP is an expensive platform to build on. To get the free app and everything.
So OCPP being that it actually communicates with the car, it's got a...
OCPP as in Open Charge Point Protocol, as in like you can put third-party platforms on the charge.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we're giving away the software for free, so there really isn't a need to be able to put a third-party platform on it. So right now, not OCPP. We might explore that in the future. Some of the energy companies have told us that they need that. So yeah, but I mean, we're going to be able to integrate the EO Mini Pro onto the cloud as well. So you'll be able to export all your consumption onto the cloud. That will be an optional upgrade. So that won't come as standard.
All good. And it's going to be accessible anywhere. If it's a cloud service, you'll be able to see your data and access that from anywhere.
Correct. And you'll be able to access your app anywhere in the world. So if you're in New York, which we're not able to get to at the moment, you'll be able to see, and your car's plugged in, you'll be able to see it. Okay. Now, you can also lock the charger via the app. So if you go on holidays, you can click the lock button on the app. So
no one can use it while you're away. I mean, I'm interested because I've been looking at, got a new big solar system. I was going to swear, fuck off big solar system.
Okay.
To charge my car and my EVs. And I'm looking for a smart way to suck up those solar gains and charge my car. Because now that I work from home, bloody COVID, it's at home most of the time. So we should talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is it, where we're giving you a option outside it. And there's a product on the market already, Zappy, which is fantastic. I really like it. And I guess what we've tried to do is incorporate some of those features, but we wanted to make the app a standard. So that's a difference between us and the Zappy. You get the app from day one as standard. There's no add-on module.
Question here from Mr. August.
Yeah,
yes.
Just one problem with question, I should say. With some systems, they have the thing of opportunistically heating up hot water when there's power available. Is that something that would be separate to your system, or are you actually flexible enough to play games like that?
I don't believe at the moment we're flexible enough to play games in that way. Where we will be investing a lot of money as the global EO kind of brand. But no, not just yet.
Okay, so it would have to fit in with other systems that do that, be it charging batteries or heating up water or whatever.
Yeah, more like a smart controller system. So I know some people buy my Kiva platform when they want to do like smart home control on that level via the UDP protocols. I know. Yeah, it's not yet an off-grid solution as well.
So Jamie, you wanted to ask a question? If you can, there we go.
There we go.
Jamie, you're live.
Clicking on the wrong mute button. This is an associated question with another product. With the Zappy V2,
yep.
With the 3-phase version, how many CT clamps does that support?
I believe that it would require 3 CT clamps, 1 for each phase.
Yeah, but I've got that set up now, but I'm about to add solar, which will also be 3-phase. So will I need a Harvey, or is there already enough ports in there?
That's probably a better question for the distributor of Zappy. I will make a guess. I think you require the Harvey to get the app and the wireless function. I'm not an expert on Zappy. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I thought I might ask since you guys also did it, I think.
We don't sell Zappy. I like Zappy, but yeah, I don't think EO would like it if I sold their competitor.
All good. So the price, Sam, that's the EO Mini? Is that what the price today?
That is the price. Yeah, that's the price we'll be launching at. Essentially for you guys, you're going to be paying about under $1,200, so about $1,100.70 just off the top of my head. So
yep. And
we feel like we've priced this super aggressively, guys. I could have probably put this in the realm of $1,500-$1,600, but yeah. I want to move some units.
And special deal for us at AEVA.
Yes. Oh, well, you guys get a special deal all the time, courtesy of you and Jason.
Thanks very much.
Right? So anyone who wants to buy a cable, adapter, a plug, a charger, you get 10% off. The only thing you don't get 10% off is the installation price, guys, and that's because electricians are paid in diamonds.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Sam.
You're welcome, guys. I'm very sorry. I'm going to stay on the line for as long as I can. I do have to pick up my children, but I'm happy to answer as many questions as you want. Yeah, thank you for taking your time.
Thanks, Sam. So, Paul and Stephanie, thank you very much for coming back and talking to us again.
Not a problem. A pleasure being here.
So last month we spoke, and you actually did a great presentation, and we were asked to invite you back. So if you don't mind, if you would have another go and talk to us today.
Not a problem. Well, look, I'll be covering a lot of the ground that I covered last time, and so I hope that I don't bore anyone. But look, I'll
today, so I'm sure they've got the message. We've got many more people that haven't heard, so hopefully, and you. I was going to say it's a great presentation, really interesting, but I'm sort of jumping too far ahead. Please, the floor is yours.
Not a problem. Let me just work out how to share my screen. Share.
Yep, coming up. Yeah. Good to go.
Okay, fantastic. Right, just make sure, see what screen I'm looking at what. Okay. All right, look, just to start with, I just wanted to share a little bit about Rectifier Technologies and who we are and where we've come from. We've been around for quite a long time, since 1992. We're an Australian company specialising in power electronics, and we started doing power electronics with telecommunications, moved into industrial battery charging, and then more recently we've started to move into the electrical vehicle space. So our headquarters is here in Melbourne. Our R&T team and our administration is based here. We have a manufacturing team in Malaysia and our international sales office in Singapore. And so one of the things that I kind of want to talk about today is, I guess, with all due respect to Sam, we see the future of EV charging in the DC space. And we believe that is because if you look at other technologies, if you say look at mobile phones, only a few years ago they all had headphone jacks, but then over a period of time those jacks have disappeared. And what that's enabled the mobile phone manufacturers to do is actually increase the battery capacity of the phones, which we all like because we want more features, we want more battery capacity. And so now people use wireless earphone pieces with their mobile phones, and that jack has disappeared. And so if you look at electric vehicles, one of the key things with electric vehicles is increasing battery capacity. And, you know, since 2012, the battery capacity has increased by a staggering 250%. I just saw some figures just recently that, you know, a typical full charge will take you 480 kilometres, and an average Australian with an electric vehicle is commuting about 38 kilometres a day. And so one of the things that at the moment electric vehicles have are their onboard chargers. And so an onboard charger means that you take an AC input and the vehicle actually has the charger on board. Now this adds cost to an EV, it adds weight to an EV, and it's really there for the convenience at the moment because DC is still being rolled out, but in terms of publicly available chargers. So in Europe, that's certainly the case, that DC is becoming much more ubiquitous, and I think that you'll see that in Australia as well. And then eventually what will happen is either the onboard charger will significantly decrease in size just for emergencies, or it'll even disappear altogether to help reduce the cost and also allow more battery capacity into vehicles. And so, yeah, we see that eventually onboard chargers will, like headphone sockets on mobile phones, will slowly disappear in the future. If you look at DC charging, there are various areas where people do charging. And I guess probably we see the public charging. We're all aware of the public chargers, particularly the ones that are being rolled out across Australia with ChargeFox and also AEVA's public infrastructure that's being rolled out across many major highways and in various centres. And that those chargers are large capacity chargers to give you a quick charge when you're on the road or you're at a shopping centre or something like that. And then there's fleet charging, where you would have a charging for a fleet of trucks or cars. And again, the capacity of those chargers range from small, from 11 kilowatts up to 350 kilowatts. But what's interesting is really where the majority of most charging occurs is actually in the home. So really, in terms of low power DC charging, we see that range between 7 to 11 kilowatt in the home as being an important marketplace, as people wanting to be able to have well-controlled and well-regulated DC charging. But the other aspect to DC charging, which is an exciting development, is really the area of V2G, where you can have bidirectional charging, because really an electric vehicle is really a battery on wheels. And so the ability to both charge your car and then also draw power from your car means that your investment in an electric vehicle, the return on investment improves, because not only do you get the benefits of clean transportation, but you also get the ability to then put energy back into the grid, or to power your home, or to be a part of supporting the grid. And we're very excited about our developments, our product, which is currently under development, called the Hybrid DC charger. And there is, we have various versions of this, but in particular, we're focusing on our bidirectional chargers. So this will allow people to both charge cars and also to export power out of their car. And so at this stage, the only V2G vehicles that are available are the CharDemo compliant cars, which are the Japanese standards, the Nissans and the Mitsubishis. CharDemo has been bidirectional for quite a long period of time. The European standard, the CCS standard, the standard is still being worked on at this time. And unfortunately today I looked at how the standards committee is going with that standard. It's a communication standard called ISO 15118-20. And that, unfortunately, the public release date for that standard has again slipped, and it's slipped to August 2021. So that's really made us think about our timelines in terms of when we'll be releasing our product. because when the European cars pick up V2G, that will really increase the number of vehicles that are on the road to be able to do V2G. So what V2G, like I said, allows you to do is both charge and export to your car, from your car. So there are different sort of terminologies. There's V2G, which is talking about vehicle to grid, which is talking about actually exporting power to the grid where you can get paid for electricity that you export. Other things that this can be used for is for stabilizing the grid as well. So if the voltages are too high on the grid, then the power quality mechanisms in the charger can be used to help stabilize the grid. And so the business models of exporting power to the grid and making that worthwhile are really still being worked out. There's a lot of discussion about the whole business model for V2G.
Just a question there, maybe sort of projecting ahead. Do you think it'll be the virtual power plants of the world? So you'd be in a group or some kind of collective that would work together? Or do you think it'd be a bit more like home batteries where it's really up to you to add, subtract to the grid based on what you want to do? Do you have a feel for where that might go?
Yeah, look, certainly, look, I think there'll be a blend of both, but certainly there is a lot of talk about virtual power plants using chargers to create basically big power plants virtually. And so there are a lot of talk about the different standards that will be required to allow these virtual power plants to be able to talk to these sort of chargers, to be able to manage that energy flow into the grid, but not only the energy flow, but also the grid stabilization. Things like FCAS, which allow a whole range of these charges to help stabilize the grid at different times.
It seems to be a really big thing, because one of the weaknesses with the system we have now is that we need a stable grid. We need the flying flywheels out there to keep it going, and if it's not stable, it stops. Like what happened in Adelaide a little while back. So this helps negate that or solve that problem.
Yeah, look, certainly on a smaller scale, it will enable that. I guess it will always be very difficult to compete with large generators. I mean, I think this, the V2G and the virtual power plants will play their part, particularly at peak periods where there is high demand. I mean, it's very difficult for an individual to play on the energy market. I mean, it's like the stock exchange. You really need to have a broker to help manage it. And I mean, we all pay a pittance for the power that we export from our solar panels. But when it's put into a virtual power plant and they're able to play the energy market, then certainly it might be able to make it more viable.
Scale behind it. So, John Oaks here has got a question if we might.
Well, just a thought with regards to that. In principle, whether it's your system or someone else's system, but perhaps 100 consumers could get together and sell a power stabilization facility to the grid. Maybe that's 100 people, maybe that's 1,000 people. But, you know, what they would have to undertake is that any given time, let's say there's 1,000 people, but at any given time, 300 of your systems are active, providing grid stabilization, and actually sell that capability to the grid. And I mean, that's obviously a long way down the track, but it's a thought. Certainly an individual can't do that, but if 1,000 people got together to do that, maybe they could.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there are companies that are working on those sort of business models. And I think those virtual power plants will probably be a mixture of both V2G chargers as well as battery and solar systems on houses. So across the board, there'll be availability. But yeah, so look, it'll be, it's a very interesting future once you start to look at a car as a battery.
I think you're going to talk about it, because in comparison to a home, they're a very big battery. I mean, the home batteries are reasonably small in comparison to an electric vehicle. Yeah,
absolutely. And so I guess the next concept in terms of bidirectional charging is what we call V2H. And really, and as you said, look, I mean, an estimate of the amount of energy that's stored in your car is really probably about 3 to 4 days worth of energy to kind of run your home, as long as you're not running your air conditioners full blast. And the idea of this is really, again, where you monitor the usage of the home, you set limits in terms of how much energy you're willing to discharge from your car, and then you can power your home at particular times. And look, there's a whole, in terms of our roadmap, there's a whole lot of thinking in terms of intelligent scheduling of where you would charge your car during off-peak periods, and then be able to then export power to your house during peak periods, and then being able to sort of manage that through a clever software to be able to do that. And I guess the next area is the concept of V2 home, which we call islanding. And that's where basically you're able to take your house and isolate it off the grid. And that involves some extra electronics that you need to put in your home, because it's very important that when you're exporting power and there's no grid, it's very important that you're isolated so that you're not putting power back into the grid and then electrocuting some linesman up the road who's trying to fix the power outage. Or you might just simply want to be off grid and use your car to do that. So these are different concepts that we see in the roadmap as we develop this technology. And I guess our starting place is first working with a single phase charger, which would be 7 kilowatts in terms of the amount of DC power that it delivers to the car. A 7 kilowatt system for a single phase, and then a 3-phase 11 kilowatt charger. And both of those would be bidirectional.
Another question from the panel here.
Yep, certainly.
Paul?
Yep.
Okay, well, one of the things about islanding, I mean, I've been talking to an electrician, and he's sort of saying that if you use old solar panels, the problem is, while you'd love to think our world is about recycling and reuse, if you set up a solar system, you can't actually reuse solar panels because they're not operating to the latest standard. But if you do islanding, then you can actually reuse solar panels. So I guess I'd just like to point out that if you do cut yourself off from the grid, then you have the option of reusing solar panels. Personally, I think this particular regulation is absolutely ridiculous, but that's a separate issue.
Less the panels than the inverter.
Oh, well, point is, if you take solar panels off an existing house that aren't to current standards, you can't actually install them in a system that connects to the grid. That's my understanding on talking to electricians. So that's one benefit of totally disconnecting to yourself from the grid. You have the options of using what might be called either the second-hand market in solar panels, or if you're moving your solar panels from an existing house to another house, you can only move them to another house in a lot of cases if you're going off grid. So just talking about islanding, I realise that's a tangential thing to what you're talking about here.
Yes, yeah, it's a bit different to what we do. Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, look, again, we feel that onboard charges will eventually either reduce in size or disappear completely, and then mixed in with a bi-directional charging, you'll really get a really good return on investment for your electric vehicle, because not only do you get clean transportation, but you also get a way of powering your home and then also supporting the grid. Any questions?
Yes.
We have a couple of questions.
Yep, certainly.
Daryl, you're up.
Daryl, you're up.
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember the exact Australian standard, whether it's 4777, but there is, if you have single phase or something like that, or triple or three phase, there's a limit to the amount of inverter capacity you can have. Now, usually your inverter's connected to your solar system.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a 5 kilowatt inverter, you can go 30% more, so you can have a 6.5 kilowatt panels. But one thing I don't understand is that I read somewhere that, in fact, whether you're charging a battery, a home battery, or a car, they take into account the inverter that is there as well. So if you've got a 5 kilowatt inverter on your solar, and now you've got a 7 kilowatt inverter charging your car, that's over the specifications of what you're allowed to have. Is that correct?
Look, unfortunately, I'm not a specialist on AS 4777.2. One of my engineers has been on the committee for AS 4777, and I'd have to take that question on notice. So,
Might have to get back to it. It is an interesting question. I'll have to get back to Daryl.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. So, look, certainly pass that back through to me through the Electric Vehicle Association, and I'm happy to find an answer for you.
Thanks,
okay, just one other question. Sorry. So, if you're going DC to DC, does that mean that you should be getting a hybrid inverter for your solar system so that you can take DC directly from that inverter?
Look, that's a possibility, but I mean, at the moment, most people have inverters on their houses, so if it's the thing is that the reason you would have an AC charger is that so that you can connect it to the grid.
AC couple's going to be a bit
AC coupled, so you're going to have AC kicking around anyway. Yeah. So I think your bidirectional charger pushes out AC so that it can either go into the house or it can go back into the grid. So certainly there's some thought that these units could have DC inputs, but at this stage we're not planning for that.
So,
right, thanks.
Just Jamie was saying in the feedback that typical three-phase is a max of 5 kilowatts back to the grid, and three-phase could be 30 kilowatts back to the grid, that's a significant amount. So, yeah. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much for your time.
That's okay. It's been a pleasure being with you guys and sharing with you again. Thank you very much.
All good. Paul and Stephanie.
Okay.
Hello, Richard.
Good day, Michael.
Thank you very much, Richard. You've been very patient.
Well, I've got a glorious story to tell, I guess. So I'm on, I guess.
You are.
Okay. Well, this segment is about TOCA, which is the Tesla Owners Club, and what it does for its members, and a little bit on what it does with AEVA and in conjunction with AEVA. So hang on, let me get this let me get this screen sharing thing.
Which is completely our question, because, you know, we've got electric cars and TOCA and AEVA do a lot of things together. We thought that we should work better together.
Yeah, better together. That sounds like Brexit. Oh, no, that's... Yeah, hang on.
Not America's made great anymore.
It's actually a Telstraism. It's used a lot in Telstra, so it's sort of embedded in my brain.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's see if this works. Okay, can you see that?
We can.
Now, I hope to have a triumphant story, but we haven't quite cracked the ton yet in Tesla Owners Club. If you take out partner members, which is only $1 extra for partners, we've got 997 members. So I haven't quite made it. I downloaded it at 5 p.m., but it still wasn't quite enough. Anyway, so yeah, Tesla Owners Club is it a mini version of AEVA for Tesla owners? And the answer is no, it is not a mini version of AEVA. In fact, it is anything but a mini version of AEVA, because Tesla owners are about owning Teslas, and they don't really see them as akin to other EVs. And so let me just start just on a bit of a random journey through TOCA's website and through some of the things we've done together, and you'll perhaps start to get a bit of a flavour. Okay. So here we have the Tesla Owners Club website. And
are you sharing the right thing, Richard? We can still see the membership count.
Oh, okay. So I've got to change every window. Okay, hang on.
No, you just got to share your desktop.
Share the desktop as opposed to the app, I think.
Okay, what do I do?
Just share the desktop instead of it's the first option.
You can also change the app that you're sharing as well, just to confuse things.
Hang on. Okay. Share whiteboard, share screen, share...
Share screen, perhaps, is the one.
That's it.
Interesting.
Screen, brilliant. You guys are so clever. Okay.
I can see your mouse, so yes.
You guys are...
Here we go.
So, fortunately, TOCA has done this for us. So why should we become a member of TOCA? And one big thing is Tesla relationship. Everyone loves Elon. We're very proud. We're going to be hosting the International Confederation of Tesla Owners Club President's Conference in 2 years. So you know, we apparently have super connections. We have an inside line on some of the difficult technical issues with Tesla. So it's definitely we definitely zone in rather than be EV generalists. Events. This is a little thing. Why should see it's TESLA? You know, Tesla relationship events, support, learning, etc. You get the little thing. But events now for TOCA, there was a survey done on events, and wineries are the number one. And I don't know if I've been to any AEVA winery events.
No, we'll have to think about that. I remember that, and it did register. Maybe we should think about that for our own outings. My next one was a pub.
But the wineries have Tesla chargers. Do they have regular chargers?
Oh, in fact, there's a supercharger in Ferry with a grass car park. Beautiful. You see, yeah. Support learning. We've got an adapter loan program, assisting journeys, other benefits. So I'll step through a few of these. I think, like AEVA, again, it's about a car, not necessarily an EV. So body repairs, car detailing, these are all sort of direct supplier relationships. EV chargers.
What's a pool got to do with Tesla?
Yeah, Evoke Limo, that's a Tesla limo service. But I don't want to sound a bit too shallow. So we've got an adapter loan program. There's been talk about that in AEVA. But yeah, so there's 3-phase adapters, there's 15 amp adapters. So members just speak to the adapter loan coordinator. when you finished your loan, you mail them to the next person who requires them. And generally they stay on the move, and only less than half the time do they go back to the coordinator. So that's that's proved to be quite a good system. And we've got, and that's a list of what you have to pay if you bust the thing. So that is really good. It gets the cars out into the bush, out into the nullarbor, whatever. And that brings us on to TOCA's main, one of the things that TOCA, see the AEVA badge here? Round Australia Electric Highway, TOCA and AEVA badges sitting proudly together. Now, this is a combined TOCA AEVA achievement mainly done between 2016 and 2018, and actually probably more AEVA input than TOCA. Left-hand one, this was the state of Australia in 2016 as far as anything at 3-phase speeds or better. And the right one is at mid-2018, again, 3-phase speeds or better. It's just a plug share printout. But so a hell of a lot of work done. You can see the route, it's every 300 kilometres. There are a couple out of service at the moment, but you just hypermile them. Well, a max of 300 kilometres with an average of every 200. But there's 15 amp. That's at 3-phase speeds, and there's 15 amp is ubiquitous, as everyone knows, around Australia, every caravan park. So 15 amp will bridge any gap. So you can see the route, and these were all designed routes, they're not random. Round Australia, the Central Stuart Highway thing with a little leg off to the left to Uluru, a shortcut across Queensland, a little shortcut around the bottom of Western Australia. So these were all done by the TOCA AEVA committee, giving out 3-phase outlets to property holders, giving out a $100 outlet, and the property owner would spend $1,000 to install it. So it was a mega effort on behalf of TOCA and AEVA. So this is the route conditions currently, which ones are in action, which ones are out of action, why the 3-phase outlet. There's, of course, the famous 3-phase outlet. But still, even a 3-phase outlet, it delivers 32 amps on a single phase, so you don't need to have a Tesla to use it. You can use it on virtually anything. A little store.
So this was, I think this is basically your idea, wasn't it, Richard? I mean, I have on the AEVA side, but it was really your idea that came out with the Round Australia route, wasn't it?
Well, not necessarily, really. You convinced
me.
If you look at from AEVA WA members,
yep,
about half of whom were not in TOCA, before I even started what I started, they had done all the way across the Nullarbor and got that in place, and that was been before my car was delivered, and from Perth all the way up to Broome,
right,
and various Tesla owners had done the east coast up to Queensland, up to Brisbane-ish, and then it was extremely patchy from then on.
Yeah.
So I drove anti-clockwise on a bit of a survey trip, and I had to fill a few gaps in Queensland, and then my contribution was really Broome, Cairns across to Broome.
The top, yeah.
Yeah, and later on another trip up the Red Centre.
Well,
it really wasn't my. I came in probably when it was about 40% complete. The Round Australia section was over half done by the time I came in.
Right.
But I was involved in getting clubs together to make it a formal thing between the clubs.
Yep.
So now this is a TOCA website, and when we launched the Round Australia Electric Highway in 2018, we got heaps of publicity, even a retweet by Elon, all sorts of things, and there's been about a dozen people done it. Everyone, including Weeby and everyone has driven around Australia since then has used this. Now so of course, it being a big achievement of TOCA and AEVA, we have a TOCA website. Well, why am I showing the TOCA website on it? Why am I not showing you the AEVA website on it? Because if you go to the AEVA website, there's nothing on it. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to plug the AEVA event right now.
In fact, not only is there not a page on it, if you search it, there's not a mention of it. So why is this? I ask you rhetorically. I really don't know. Why why is AEVA not proud of a joint achievement? Anyway,
it's probably my fault in that. I mean, from your perspective, from the TOCA perspective, you were the champion. And from the AEVA perspective, I was the champion, but didn't really push it as much to make sure that it got front and center.
But also the website's only 3 months old.
That's true. It didn't translate to the new website. I think there was stuff in the old one as well. But yeah, that would be.
And as Jason says, we are currently promoting the EV Vision conference.
No, there should be something there. Rich is completely correct. We didn't crow enough about it, and we haven't followed through. So
yeah. And anyway, it is a joint achievement, and I'm an AEVA member too, as people know. Yep. It's a joint achievement, and all the TOCA people that worked on it were also members of AEVA, but not all the AEVA people that worked on it were members of TOCA. Okay. So if you actually look at miles by membership, AEVA is more predominant. And okay, so what else do we do? What else do we do? Events, and here's a typical events calendar. Silos Estate, that's a winery at a supercharger. Day drive to Toowoomba. Race day experience. This is a track event. Tesla owners like their cars as cars. Car detailing, and a nice Nullarbor trip. That's in 2021. So that's the sort of thing that AEVA people get up to. Was meant to be 2020. Actually, yeah, TOCA's quite big into trips. This is the in the back end of the website. This is a past trips section, and yeah, it goes for about 12 pages with about 25 trips on each page. So there's just tons of them. Here's some notable ones which involved AEVA. Alice Springs 2018. Actually, that involved Greg and Clive, so the Vice President and President of AEVA at the same time on a combined TOCA AEVA trip. That was, to the Henley on Todd Regatta in Alice Springs, spoke to the Mayor of Alice Springs. That was really quite good. So what else have we done together? Parramatta to Bundanoon. Yeah, and I think we...
that was a good turnout.
I think we added a few to the numbers and made it look a bit beefy, and it turned out quite good, I thought. John, what do you reckon?
Oh, definitely.
Unless you're thinking about might try and make that more regular or a regular event.
Well, certainly at least annually, but yeah, the people of Bundanoon seem to be quite appreciative of us visiting, and in a sense, it was all because of COVID, because of a whole lot of things. We're all dazed, you know. I mean, I was only half aware of what was going on, but to actually do it again without all the COVID regulations and various other things, I think it would run a lot more smoothly because we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. What's another one? Oh, Inverell, which we do every year apart from this year, and that was Greg Partridge knows that one well. We had quite a big turnout in 2018 from AEVA. There was more TOCA in 2019. There's more people we'll put that on again in hopefully 2021. So yeah, come along. It'll probably be the first weekend in May for the Electric Vehicle Expo, assuming they're not too shell shocked after COVID. What else have I got in the? Hang on. I know you've seen this, but this is another image. How do I go to the next image? The expo in Sydney last year. That worked out very well. There are actually 53 TOCA people, car owners, helped out with that, with the drives and so on.
Yeah.
And AEVA was very nice to provide quite a big stand area for TOCA. So that worked out very well. We were going to see if we could do something similar this year, but obviously not to be. And I don't know how I'm going for time, but...
a few more minutes.
Sorry?
A few more minutes, a minute or two.
Yeah, here's another thing we've cooperated on. Here's the Stances Australia AS3000 committee, because that's now got charging outlets for electric vehicles in it, and it was limited to 20 amp 3-phase for for industrial outlets, and Kim from WA, who's member of TOCA, member of AEVA, and member of TOCWA, Tesla Owners Club of Western Australia, has helped frame a joint approach by TOCA and AEVA, and this is us. In fact, you'll see somewhere that we support the AEVA thing and we add some things to it. Okay. So there's really quite a bit of cooperation between both organisations. Now, this is not so structured. I just see what else I've got on my desktop here.
In order to, Richard, we've got to go to our competition.
Yeah, and of course we do. We're not dummies. We do submissions to the Senate inquiry and so on. Lovely car there, and
picture, by the way.
Anyway, so that's TOCA. We can do some technical stuff. We can do some very non-technical stuff. We go way on the non-technical end, further than AEVA does. And anyway, support us where we do stuff together. Come to Inverell, and thanks for listening.
Thanks very much, Richard. And I have to say that in everything we've done, TOCA's been very generous with the time and turning up and assistance. So thank you. So now it's time for the competition. So menti.com with the code word at the top. Remember that the prize is EVSC, one of the minis, I think. So if you head to menti.com now. How do we start?
It's going. Are you ready?
Jason knows what he's doing, I hope.
Yeah.
Coming up now.
It's loading.
Loading.
So every icon is a person joining the competition. So there's 7 people in the competition right now, and there are...
Right, more people.
How many people
That's
in
about
the whole
9,
thing?
10, something like that. Lots and lots.
Oh, good.
We're up to 10. There's still 23 people watching, so...
Got a few moments to join before we kick off.
Look,
all right, let's kick off.
10? All right.
Yeah, go for it. What is the...
Oh, there you go.
What is the depth of the hybrid DC bi-directional charger?
So this is from the presentation.
3, 2, 1. And the answer is right. Well done. Answer is right. Of course it's right. There was a large number of people that got it right. So I was of course the answer is the answer.
If you answer fast, you get more points, by the way.
What does V2G stand for? Good thing I didn't say that. Vehicle to green, vehicle to ground, vehicle to grid. What does V2G stand for? Vehicle to grid. Question 3 is, which hybrid DC bidirectional charger will Rectifier Technologies first release in Australia?
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you remember that in the presentation?
I don't actually.
I don't remember it either.
And the answer is... Oh, okay, I got it wrong. I was going to say 11 kilowatts. There you go.
There you go.
So here's the current standings of this batch of questions.
Andreas is a bit of a brainiac.
So there will now be questions about the EVSC presentation.
Question 4.
This is such a challenge.
The EO Mini Pro, does it come with solar and app as standard? Yes or no? No or yes? And we think, ooh, split decision almost. Whoa,
wow.
Yes. Okay. Is this number 5. Question 5. EVSE.com.au was founded in which year?
Yeah,
Oh, gee, that's a
good question.
It was in his presentation.
He did say.
Some
I remember
people
him
are
saying
watching.
it, but I wouldn't.
I'm quite surprised they've been going for a while.
They have actually. It's a few years.
Well, that's a bit of a hint.
It's a good thing 11 people submitted their answers.
Oh, nice. Or was that Ludo?
Okay.
What happened? Lubo was doing it.
Yeah, he said it. If you were listening, I would have missed it. The AEVA Mini Pro. What's the RRP? Recommended retail
vaguely
price.
I remember this. Yeah.
The type of
A type of
diode.
diode.
Why did
Where's
that
that
get
coming
there?
in? Maybe we don't ignore that.
Sorry, that's a glitch.
Oh, you should have said a case of beer.
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is, oh, good. Well, yeah, well, that does stand out. Yeah, I remember that one.
I don't know how that happened.
Question 7.
What other ones are mistakes now?
Where is the EO Mini Pro made?
Okay,
That's a good question. I don't actually remember that either. Oh, maybe I'd make a guess.
Hopefully it's Australia. You know, given that we're here.
And the answer is, oh, yeah, that's what I thought, United Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Was it China, because
All right,
everything's
I'm
made in China.
finishing
But,
here with this one. There we go.
what is the warranty on the EO Mini Pro?
I can tell you, I bought my Chinese charger and everybody said to me, you made a mistake with the warranty. It hasn't broken yet, but yeah.
And the answer is 3 years. There you go.
But you can take that feedback now and you consider that 3 people want lifetime warranty.
What's that?
So where are we standing at?
Oh,
Andre is falling behind. Here we go.
Jamie.
Now we have random
Anthony.
Random questions.
Okay. Question 9. Getting to the end.
The pressure's on to win the charger.
How many electric vehicles sold in the first half of 2020 to the nearest 100?
Now this is straight off the EV Council stats. So yeah.
I think there's a mistake here.
Yeah. No, there isn't.
Absolutely. I think there's an extra 0 that shouldn't be there.
Oh, what the hell?
I think we've got.
Oh.
No, I got that right.
There you go.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you're thinking of the wrong question. You're thinking of this question.
All right.
Question 10. What percentage did electric vehicle new sales in Australia count for in 2019? What was the percentage of sales of new cars?
I went in with 25% thinking it would be a mad trick question, and apparently that's so far off. So.
No, it's very low.
Well, lots of people know their stats.
Oh, goodness me.
Well, we know our numbers. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think this is our... No, one more.
11.
No, they're 11 of 13. Well,
true.
maybe there's too many questions there.
What many kilowatts is 10 amps from a regular house supply? How many kilowatts is 10 amps from a regular house supply?
This is a good one.
It is a good one.
This is going to really thin out the herd, right?
If anyone knows their charger.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go.
All right.
Oh, nice.
I went with a lot of questions because I truly thought this was, a lot of people were going to join up, and yeah.
We should have got any bit earlier, maybe. What household item can consume 3.6 kilowatts? What household item can?
Well,
There's a fair few kilowatts.
my laptop with my new M1 chip does not consume that much.
Yep. That one stood out, I guess. And the last question.
Pressure's on.
13. Lucky 13. What is the atomic number for lithium? Right, okay. Is it heavy or is it light?
Mm-hmm.
How far up the scale does it go?
I wish I spent more time in science. My science teacher was quite good looking.
And
Look at
wow,
that.
okay.
People knew
I
that
thought
one.
it was the other end of the
Okay,
scale, but yeah,
so we press the next button to find out who gets the charger.
Who?
Whoop.
And
Wow, Richard came in from nowhere.
David Kerr.
Okay, there you go.
9,583 points. So, David.
You need to jump on the chat and ping us your contact details.
Yes, so we can get back to you. And we
to
can
the
put you-
panelists. And I think we'll just stay here for a second while you do that.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, yep. Do you want to, quickly run through the other...
Oh, no, actually, we can...
Go through there, yeah?
You want to move to the next page?
Yeah, might as well.
From David Kerr to all panelists, do I send email or address? Okay.
Send us your email and or email me at treasurer.aeva.asn.au.
Treasurer at eva.asn.au.
That's true.
That's
You're
what
right.
I'm trying to say.
I mumbled that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or just post your email to the panelists right now and I can send it to everyone.
Yeah.
That way you do get it. Anyway, chairman and vice chairman.
So if we quite quickly, because we're running a bit late, we're running a bit long.
Next time.
The only thing that I had to report, and maybe John will follow up, is our barbecue at David Pearce. So it was a big thank you to David Pearce, and I think there was 15, 20 of us out.
I think more like 12, 15 would
Okay.
be my guesstimate. Yes, it was a good event. I think everybody who turned up enjoyed it, and it had a lovely vibe. And
yeah, so there was a couple
to
of
play with his toys.
And
we did, yes, because he had the electric bikes. So
yeah,
Josh
we got to ride his electric bikes and his scooters.
mobility scooters.
We may actually have those images. I'm not sure, but I had a bit of a look at one of his scooters and try to figure out how do you program it. So that was some of the adventures. We were pulling the scooters apart and figuring them out. And riding the scooters and electric bikes around. And, obviously we had the lovely sausages and so on and stuff to eat along the way. It was a really enjoyable afternoon.
It was a nice
afternoon. I suppose I guess we hope to do more of them. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. One way or another, we need to do a little bit more physical meetings when we can, and that was a nice afternoon.
Just sent it here.
Anything else, John?
Goodness me. Well, this is more projects, but I will mention that I've been continuing to work on the monitor for Jeff, which is of RPM of a turbocharger and temperature and pressure for a diesel turbo. So that is coming along. So
there is a section for that though.
All right. Well, I will say one extra comment to do with electricity. And this is going off on a tangent, but indulge me, I am the vice president, I suppose.
Tangents are your thing?
Yeah, lovely. So, I do have a friend of mine who's a retired sociologist, and he lives in a company title building. And everybody says, you don't want company titles, you want body corporates. But because he's a sociologist, he wants to turn this building with all these individual owners into a village. And he says, because it's company title, there's some things that are easier. He has actually arranged for the block of units to have its own battery, its solar cell, and buy electricity in bulk from a provider. And he says that's easier to do when you actually have company title. So there you go. Words for company title, a few steps removed from electric vehicles, but certainly, dealing in electric power anyway. I'll leave it at that for the present.
All good. So therefore, the next is Jason, and because we haven't done the full handover,
yes, yep.
Then we've still got $3,000 in the bank because we haven't really spent anything. I've got a few invoices that we've got to talk to, but
we can talk about this though.
The membership.
Yeah, so I just ran the stats, and it looks like there was a boost in membership because of the EV Expo for New South Wales.
Yep.
And now we need to call them back and get them up and running again.
So we'll have to have a bit of a program to maybe talk to people, see why people are checking out.
Definitely. All right, so Secretary's report.
Secretary's report. So, Mr. Roberts, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Well, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Well, the only thing that happened over the last since the last meeting, I believe, is the barbecue at Darrell's place that you've already talked about. So I won't re-raise that. However, I do have some personal stuff to talk about.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
My package has finally arrived from West Australia. That's the big red button.
That lets you launch the nuclear
I'll
missile.
give you one guess as to why it's called the big red button.
Because it's big and it's red.
So, but
oh my God, yes, that's true, John.
That's going in your extension pack for the lead.
Yep, and also, hold on a sec. Inertial switch.
All right.
I don't know if you can
So
hear.
you know where you are.
Hear the rattling?
You know who's upside
No
down.
rattling.
So again, for the extension pack for the
Yeah, and
it's an unboxing video.
yeah, it is. I actually did unbox I opened the satchel whilst I was here online in front of you guys. I don't know if anyone noticed.
So that's a fuse. What are we talking
It's a 200 amp fuse.
Okay.
So that's how much I reckon I won't need any more than that. I've also got the contactors and I've got some lugs. I've got enough. Thanks, mate. My son. In case anyone, have you all met my son? He's
hiding.
He's ducked for cover.
Probably not.
You can see his bum there if you.
Champion. Okay, moving on.
If wouldn't have said tempted, no. But anyway, so thanks, mate. Thanks.
All those elements are for you. The extension pack for the lead.
Yes. So I'm pretty much ready to go now.
Timeline?
I just need to actually get myself sorted and organise John with the Arduino business and yeah, timeline. Christmas-ish.
Well, that's not too bad. Better than I thought. Better than me, I guess.
You think I'm going to beat you, John? Michael?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Oh my God. Does that mean I'm going to beat John as well?
It's easy to beat me, guys, but I'll get onto my report later.
You love being beaten.
Anyway, so that's the technical report, so we're moving on.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much me.
Okay, cool.
Why does it do that?
So that we can try and go over time, I guess, but infrastructure. So, Andreas, have you got anything that
Yes.
you'd like to...
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
You can.
I don't have too much to report. I did hear back from Victoria Roads just about the process on how to actually ask for EV numbers by postcode. And I was told that if you ask for or not ask for data where there's less than 10 EVs per postcode, then there's less likelihood that there's privacy issues. So they should be able to give you the data.
Right.
But the request for that has to come from sort of a director of AEVA, and I think with the conference and everything at the moment, we'll try to get that sorted after that.
Yep.
And then the only other thing, the more I've been thinking about it, is that maybe we can think about some sort of recognition for businesses that provide EV chargers on a national basis at all of their stores. And again, it's just an idea that if a company like IKEA, which offers EV chargers at all of their stores, like they could be recognized, like we have sort of on the website somewhere something that says IKEA is the #1 because they were maybe the first national business to have chargers everywhere. And then if we later on get a Bunnings or someone like that, and they've got, instead of 10 stores, they've got hundreds of stores, then they could be the #1 in terms of number of charges, but we still recognize IKEA by giving them sort of a second tier ranking #1 for being the first to offer it.
Being the first, and then what you're doing after that is sort of creating a competition between them, say, too.
Yes, and then we could have 2 halls of fame, one for destination kind chargers and one for fast chargers. And from our point of view, we would want to get sort of the most possible chargers on the fast charger hall of fames.
Good point.
So anyway, that was just an idea, but again, something that hasn't been discussed in too much detail at this stage, but maybe later on after the conference.
Yep. Yeah, they're a bit flat out being that close. But anyway, it's a good point. But both things, we should follow up on those. Good point.
No worries.
Upcoming events. So we don't have anything planned. The date that we've got in the diary, I think it's the 16th of December, which is probably during the week. We've been talking here amongst ourselves whether it's an online, another conversation like this, a Zoom, or whether we do something physical, possibly something Christmassy. If you've got any thoughts, opinions, ideas, would love to get your feedback. Either in the chat or ping me, treasurer@AEVA.18.11.
No, and one thought we have had is maybe meeting at Charles' place if he's amenable. So that's on the other side of the Blue Mountain. So I did actually visit him, and he seemed to be relaxed about the idea. Obviously, hit him with a date in short notice. Maybe he'll have other things to do. But that's a possibility there, maybe.
All good. So we will have something mid-December, whether it's an online or whether we'll not try and do something physical. We will let you know.
There was also Amaroo Park a few years ago. That was lovely. But
talk to Wayne. Yeah, we should talk to Wayne, see how he's going. Yeah. Okay, what's the next one?
Andrew wants to say something.
Andrew, you have the floor.
Hey, how you going? This is sort of an unofficial announcement. So there's a bit of progress with a company and a company launch in planning in July, but we're now looking forward to expand the concept development team. So I just thought I'd just give a shout, reach out if anyone's interested in AI and electric vehicles to hit me up on LinkedIn. I want to expand the concept development team. We need people with the experience with machine learning, especially in AI focus.
So just quickly, Andrew, what kind of company? What's your company? Just to.
So yeah, it's Advent Atom. So we're focusing on defense and commercial vehicles and applications, optionally manned assets and platforms.
So if we talked about, could you do a presentation about what you do to us at some time in the near future?
Yeah, definitely. So we're just planning to register the company next year.
Right.
And we'll do that at that time.
No worries.
Yeah, so I thought I'll probably we're trying to expand the concept development team because obviously got to have a minimum valuable proof of concept or product to sort of be accepted in an incubator.
Got it. So anyone interested in say it again, the role you're looking for?
So anyone with any programming or machine learning experience, because the core product of this is the AI. We're going to potentially have partnerships with Atlas Motors vehicles for their battery systems, electric motors.
All good.
So but the core component is the artificial intelligence. So if anyone wants to reach out, that'll be great.
All good. Andrew Wilson, LinkedIn or give us a bell. We'll pass on your details if you want to contact Andrew. So what's next? Where are we going next?
1 second. I want to change.
Hang on a sec. I think it's coming events the last thing. Previous events. Well, we've already talked about the barbecue. Thank you very much to Darren.
Well, there's actually Chris Darlitz and that whole thing, EV display and film data.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yes. So unfortunately, I don't think we got the photos here. I think we did actually have some photos of the barbecue. I'm not sure we've been able to show them. But I certainly did go along to the EV display and film day at Manildra, and I know there are some photos that I took. I'm not sure how easy it is to show them, but certainly there are a good number of EVs at Manildra, and we got to see that film Ford versus Ferrari, and much as I'm not that into cars in a broad sense, it was an impressive film, and it was great to see it in sort of an old style cinema, and it's just a lovely day. And I know I saw some people at the Banjo Patterson Museum and said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to the Manildra Theatre," and they said, "Oh yeah, are you? Well, say hello to the owners from us." So I guess it's a small world in the country anyway. But unfortunately, I don't have the photos to hand. But yeah, it was an excellent little outing, and the Manildra Cinema, if it's practical to go, they do show their films once a month, and it's certainly an experience if it's practical to go along.
Well, how many k's? How far is it, Manildra?
Oh, it's out past Bathurst there somewhere, so it's a decent way out. Yeah, good drive to get there.
Okay. other business. Got nothing unless anyone else.
Christmas party or
Christmas
gathering.
party? Well, that's where we haven't quite figured it out. So we have to.
So we'll keep
Do
in
we have
touch
project
via
updates?
email.
Yeah,
And the email will then go out to everybody. I
we
guess.
will. We'll let people know well in advance. I mean, at the moment in the diary it's the 16th. When if we stuck to that, it would be an online because it's in the middle of the week. If we don't, if we do something physical, we'll let you know as quick as possible.
Does anyone have any suggestions before we move on to the next?
Yeah,
topic?
anyone, because if you're off mute,
Everyone can off mute.
Everyone can
control your
talk.
mute button. You can. If you've got
It's
any
complete
ideas.
and total anarchy.
Well, not complete.
Hey, it's Jason Ford here. Am I able to ask a question or just
Certainly
to
can.
general members?
Hello, Jason.
Thanks. Yeah, so look, just tonight's been a fantastic meeting. My dad and I don't think you can see us, but Dad and I have been working on a electric vehicle conversion for the last 18 months or so. We missed an X-Trail, older vehicle. Dad's in Canberra, I'm in New South Wales, even though we're in the same room. Normally go to the ACT meeting of AEVA, so I got the invite. Anyway, we are at the stage of our conversion project where we're ready to go for a test drive. We're not quite ready for rego, but we're ready to drive the car.
So can you just describe the car again? Just go the 101 of the car.
Yeah, so it's a Nissan X-Trail, an older model. It's about 2010.
Motor batteries controller. What are the high spots?
It sounds like he's next to the car.
It was a 4-wheel drive vehicle. We've actually put in 140.
Oh, he's still there?
Yes.
He just dropped out. So, sorry, say again, what have you got? The motor, the controller, and the batteries. What have you got in the car?
Yeah, so we've got a 144 kilowatt warp speed motor. We created a coupling where we paid somebody to do a coupling for us to an old Aussie 3-speed gearbox out of a Holden Piranha. The vehicle was 4-wheel drive. Now it's 2-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. And, so we've done all the fabrication work around that. We've, like the electric, now it has electric power steering, electric brakes, all the typical things you would do.
Nice.
We're actually really proud of our work.
Batteries? What kind of batteries do you run?
No, that's where I'm coming to. So the only thing we need now to actually go for our first test drive is batteries. And, I've done a Google search and I've sort of reached out to a couple of companies and I've only had one response. And I just wondered.
Lithiumpower.com.au would be my go-to. Oz DYI Electric, Graham in Brisbane, or Lithium Power or EV Power in Perth as well. Those are the ones that would be my go-to.
EV Power in Perth are the people we've been sort of talking
Yeah, they don't seem to be as looking after the business as much. The guy at Lithium Power, I can't remember his name, he's pretty good. And he's got some interesting stuff. He's got the SDI, the Samsung batteries. He's got full Nissan Leaf packs, a bit like mine, except newer. He had, what else he had? A few other bits and pieces. The prismatic cells. Only thing I didn't think he had was the Tesla batteries. So you probably need to find someone. Jeff O'Toole might be able to do Tesla batteries.
We're not necessarily, we don't need necessarily, Telstra or Samsung or a particular brand. We just want a supplier who's able to give us something to get a 100-kilometre range.
Yep.
That's reliable, hopefully Australian, that we can order from and install. So you've given me a couple of names there that we will follow
Lithium
up
Power, look at their website. Yeah, I go there first and just see. They've got some really good stuff. The other one, if you're really, really into advanced stuff, is El Mofo, but they're really cool and really expensive. So Lithium Power would be my go-to today.
I think Lithium Power had a special on leaf packs for about $5,000 as well.
Yeah.
$5,000, that's pretty good value if that's right.
Yeah, I paid about $9 for mine, and the leaf cells are pretty good to deal with. Easy to get the BMSs. They're pretty easy to deal with as a cell. Pretty rugged and reliable. So not a bad option.
Yeah. All right. So I can see a couple of sort of messages coming through online, and I'll put my email address there. Anybody either on audio or in the chat who does have some advice, particularly if you've got experience, it would be awesome to hear from you. So thanks for enabling us to put that out there.
All good. Any questions, hit us up. feel free to come along and ask a question, and feel free to, if you come along to the next one, show us some photos of your car.
Oh yeah, we'd be able to do that. Yeah, I'd like to think that we can get to a point where we can even maybe show you a video of the car in motion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good one.
So member projects, which were kind of a nice segue. Just me, the 2002 Lotus Elise, the battery pack, building the battery pack, which is 300 volts, a Nissan Leaf pack taken out of my old car, and the motor mount, the components that I built to properly mount the motor is off to powder coat, so I should get back in 2 weeks' time. Didn't bring any photos. I'll bring some photos next time. Anyone else got any projects?
All right, well, I'll mention my i3 and sort of the repair of that in progress. Now, the last time the automotive engineer was saying that there's this hexagonal element that's like an energy absorption element, sort of like the crumple zone of your car is a single-use brake. This is, I guess, a hexagonal crushable element that connects to the cabin, and it's been half crushed. And we were flapping around for quite a bit about what to do with it. And the automotive engineer said, look, everything else looks all right apart from this one crushable hexagonal element. And Jason somehow managed to find out that SD Parts do seem to actually sell a replacement for in the order of $120. Don't quote me on that. Sort of 3 or 4 weeks delivery from Europe. So, I mean, I thought that if I was going to do deal in this, I'd have to buy a whole cabin worth about $25,000. But this sort of makes life a lot easier if all you're doing is buying a particular bit that's $120. Also, SD Parts have sort of located some sort of base plate. I mean, we need Jeff to sort of tell us these things, but that's going to be about $1,000 or $2,000, and we're going to hopefully get the other bits from the wrecked i3. And the other thing is, if the glue is anything like the Lotus glue, it should soften at 110 degrees Celsius.
So it's heat.
Yeah, heat. So again, that's assuming it's something like the Lotus glue, because the Lotus glue, even though it's epoxy, it does actually soften at 110 degrees Celsius, so you can actually use temperature with some mechanical pressure to pull stuff apart.
Right,
so that means that if we can set up some sort of rig with a clamp, put it under tension, heat it with some sort of hot air gun to 110 degrees Celsius, we can pull off the old hex element, then scrape off, you know, the remaining glue, and actually not just play silly buggers with sort of repairing the old element, but actually replacing it with a comparable element. And that should keep the automotive engineer happy. And if I can get the automotive engineer to sign off at it, then I can make a claim to the RTA. But in a sense, there's a lot of unknowns even now, but at least we have a plan and things have developed. And I guess Jeff is probably not listening, but Jeff is one of these people who goes to ground every so often and is uncontactable. But, you know, with a bit of patience, he will actually come to life.
His my powder coating is through him, and he's got about 10 cars in there.
And the other thing, I sort of talked to him about this Arduino module for monitoring his diesel setup, and I guess that motivates him to talk to me. But there you go. I wonder if Jeff's online at the moment. But never mind. These are the games you have to play. Anyway, I'll leave it at that.
I got my hands on Monroe's Teardown for the BMW i3.
So this bit here, this is what you're showing.
Yeah, so basically every single section he's gone through and put a dollar value on every single part and the composition of each part, and then that helps August find the
one thing missing from the Teardown is the details of exactly what glue they use for assembly.
Yes.
That seems to be missing from their details. They give you some sort of cost estimate for the glue, which is all very well if you're trying to figure out how much the damn thing costs, but I couldn't give a toss how much it costs. I just want to buy the bits.
Actually, did they tell you what the cost of the car was?
Yeah, you go. Yeah, I haven't really gone through it in detail, but like, I actually don't know which page it was on. It's intense. Like, he goes through everything, like the motor breakdown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like even how the magnets are configured. He's pulled apart everything.
Well, the other thing is, I'll also mention, some people know about my dreams for the i3 to actually turn the i3 into the car that it never was, that I always wanted it to be. And one of the things I want to do is actually charge it to above 75% capacity. Now, the question is, what is the limitation? Is it like that the batteries go out of balance? is it the diodes and the alternator can't handle that voltage, or what is it? But I would love to charge it to more than 75% from the generator inside the car, and that would make it so much more flexible for the applications I used to put it to. Now, to be sure, looking back, maybe I was playing silly buggers with the i3. It was never designed for me to drive it to and from Perth, but stuff it, I drove it to and from Perth.
I do remember this conversation where we were talking about modifying it and potentially breaking it before you actually crashed it and broke it.
Yeah, basically I wasn't going to do that earlier, but now if I can bring it back to life from the dead, sort of do necromancy on my i3, then it doesn't matter if I'm violating the warranty. It's a whole different world and a whole lot of freedom, assuming I can get past this particular obstacle. But let's just say, who knows how things will go, but at least I have a plan.
Yeah. Each section has a price, and like just the electrics is $2,222.
Just the electrics. So that's the...
Like the
Are you sharing the screen at the moment?
Yeah, that's screen.
Okay, right.
So like each chapter of his little teardown has a dollar value. So like you could go through and add it all up.
To give you the final cost. That 2,000 doesn't sound that much.
I think it was like a $22,000 exercise per car.
For what it's worth, this sort of plastic element seemed to be worth about $2 or $3, and they're flogging it for $120.
So like the drive line's $1,271.
Wow.
So the electric motor
is $1,000.
That's what it's cost BMW.
Wow.
Not that I would ever defend BMW. I've got to be careful. I have a mixed and tortured relationship with BMW.
Love my BMW. Don't anyway.
But to be fair, it would have cost them a lot of development to get the i3 happening.
He already wrote that. Here you go. R&D.
R&D? You built that into the price?
It's not in the summary. There's an R&D component for every part. So.
Wow.
Well, the R&D component is dependent on interest rates. It's not that it's a rubbery figure at best.
Anyway, so any other projects? So, which means anyone on the attending?
Eye-catching features. Look at that.
Jason Ford.
I was going to mention my little one.
Jamie, go for it.
Yeah, not quite a project ready to build yet, but just acquiring parts. So. I think I mentioned previously, I've got a couple of Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV rear motors, which should be good for, stock form about 70 kilowatts. Apparently you can crack them up to about 100. They're coming in from Japan, as well as a RX450H rear motor, an MGR, which is about 50 kilowatts. And I've also grabbed a couple of Toyota hybrid inverters, one from a Prius C and one from a Camry, and I'm going to look at putting an open inverter board into each of those to see what we can get those to control.
You have to show when you're getting close how it goes together.
Yeah. I was hoping the motors would be here before Christmas, but I don't know yet. They're coming in thanks to Import Monster. I chose the container option because that's just the cheapest, and I'm not in a rush at the moment. So
that's interesting. They'll import parts.
Yeah, they'll pretty much import anything. I actually just picked up a mini disc player and got it shipped through them. But anyway, from Japan. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if I can get those set up. I'm also setting up a test bench for trying to work out CAN bus. Since my target's probably going to be a Volkswagen, I've got an ECU, a BCM, a body control module, and a dashboard instrument cluster from a Volkswagen Polo. So I'm going to set up a little demo lab to see if what I can control, switch on and off.
John might be able to help you out with some CAN bus.
Oh yeah, I'm getting all too familiar with CAN bus lately, but anyway. But also, Jamie, the other thing that we discussed separately is I think we'll wait till the new year after you've actually got a few bits come in and something to show. You don't have to get stuff to work, but if you can wave bits at us, that would be great. But we might well think about visiting your place up in the Blue Mountains. Now, we've discussed this before. And the problem is your place is moderately far away from the Charles Darwin Walk. You can still do a bit of bushwalking from it, but it's not really close to the action. But it still would be nice to visit at some stage, I think.
Yeah, well, even though I'm still yet to buy one yet, we can always have a barbecue as well. I got a decent sized deck and plenty of space here, so.
All good.
And 22 kilowatt.
Christmas party at Jamie's house.
All right, we'll give it. Thanks, Jamie. Any other projects? Anyone out there that want to take us to close?
Nope, silence.
All right, so then that might be us. Thank you very much for everyone, all the stays. Hope that was interesting. We will talk to you again in December. Look out for the email. And like we said, if you've got any suggestions on what you'd like to see in December, let us know.
That'd be great. Chat soon.
Also, another thing I'll mention is eventually we will do a decent old trek like Bundanoon or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll maybe in the new year, but we'll do something. I'm sure.
Had some test runs. We should do something.
We need to find somewhere with a big solar farm and a pub.
Yeah.
What about a winery like Tocco's keeps?
Yeah.
Or a wind farm.
Wineries tend to have Tesla-specific charges anyway.
That's right.